All right. So we had talked about trade-offs, opportunity costs, decisions, losing out on things. It's just the natural order. We had talked about variations on the trade-offs, the fact that you can have individual choices, individual trade-offs, business trade-offs, government trade-offs. We had kind of alluded to the guns and butter aspect. What's guns related to? When we talk about guns, what are we talking about?
Like
Government stuff. What would butter be considered?
Consumers.
Consumers, us, individuals, right? Guys, real quick, can you put your drinks away from me in your bags? Thank you very much. Just put them in your bag. Your drink. You put your drink with that. Thank you very much. All right. So when we get through those, we start talking about opportunity costs, of course. What are we losing? The next best thing. What could I have gotten if I did not, right? Those are the opportunity cost ideas. Thinking at the margin, the idea that I brought up yesterday was just parking, like thinking about the next thing. So if you guys are going shopping, another example, if I'm going shopping for pants, part of my thought process isn't the pants. It's part of, for me at least, is the comfort level when I'm wearing the pants. Will I be comfortable in these pants, or do they look good? And what's funny from my perspective, and it's a guy perspective, sorry, is there's been a couple times I've talked to ladies that are wearing clothes and they're like, this is so not comfortable, but the ensemble works. It all looks good. And I'm like, you could change your shoes. No, you don't understand. These shoes go with this outfit, and I have to wear this. But you're giving yourself blisters. Doesn't matter. It looks good. So, whereas guys are like, whatever. And then we've talked about doctor's office, and then we got into the idea that we can graph trade-offs and opportunity costs. So that's what we're going to get into today. This is our production possibilities frontier. Again, I alluded to the fact that that line is our 100% perfection. And I'm not sure if you guys wrote it down or yet yesterday, but as the day went on, I made sure I added it on. This is, sorry. Perfection. Everything is working as it's supposed to, right? Nothing is going wrong. It is the best I could do at every possible moment. It's kind of like watching a football game or if you've ever participated in sports where everything is just working perfectly. There's nothing going wrong. Or if you've watched the baking shows, the cooking shows, those are actually fun when they mess up because you get to go, oh. But then there's the guy that typically wins or the girl that typically wins. It's like, it works. Like, I think of, what's the challenge one where they have 4 chefs to start with, and they bring it down to 3, and they do the appetizers and the entree.
They do the chops,
yeah, right. All right. So then we got into our own graph. Okay, so we didn't go any further than this. So we have our Mr. Hollow's Tires and Shampoo Emporium, located over on Smith Road. I bought the building yesterday after we came over the idea. I'm ready to go. I've got 5,000 square feet of space available. I've got all the machinery. We're ready to go. But in my mind, I've got to figure out what is going to be the best production value. Like what's going to be my money maker. To start off simply, very, very, very simply, we're just going to do a couple things regarding trade-off and opportunity cost. And then we'll come back and we'll talk money. Right? So the ones that I want you to understand is what I'm talking about now. The money part of it is the practical, like, oh, that's why we do it. Right? So there's a reason behind why the companies do these. So let's look at this very, very, very generically. If I were at 70, let's do this. You guys are going to work at Mr. Hollow's Tires and Shampoo Emporium. I'm going to pay you guys approximately $12.50 an hour. Is that okay for you guys, or do you guys want more? No, well, let me rephrase. Is anybody making $12.50 or more right now? Good. So this is where are you? Okay. And how much do you make? Or how much could you on a good day with tips?
With tips, like big conversions?
All right, so if I went 1350, would you be, okay, all right, so we'll go 1350. So keep that in the back of your minds as we're going through this. So 1350, consistent, so it won't be an up and down. Every single day you come in, your 8-hour shift, 1350 per hour. Healthcare benefits to start in 90 days. So not yet, because I gotta see how you do. All of that to say, you guys are gonna come in, and today is Wednesday. Wednesday is our tires day. We are only going to produce tires. So when you guys come in the factory on Wednesdays, just get ready for it. We're gonna work on tires, more tires. If all I make with you guys is tires in a day, remember this is for the day, how many, according to the graph, tires can we make per day if every single one of us is working on tires? Yes, sir. 70. Right? Every single one of you guys came in. We maxed out. Remember, this is perfection. You guys worked all day long. I worked with you. All the machines were working. Can you put your phone away, please? Thank you very much. Everything is perfect, which means how many bottles of shampoo do we make? 0. All right, so if I do this over here, I have 70 tires, which means I have absolutely 0 bottles of shampoo. Because on Wednesdays, we don't care about shampoo. Wednesdays, we care about tires. Thursday, however, is our shampoo day. Yes, on Thursdays, it is a shampoo day all day long. That is all we're going to make. If that's the case, and I make shampoo all day, nonstop, how many bottles, according to the graph, can we make per day? 600. My max right there. Which means, how many tires do we make that day? 0. Okay, now that's going to be kind of our max moments. Which one? And then when we do the money thing, it'll make a little more sense after I'm done showing you this. So we're looking at just trade-offs only. If I make 70 tires, I have made 0 bottles of shampoo. So the trade-off is that simple, right? The first step, 70, 0. On the other side of that, 600 bottles of shampoo, I have made no bottles per day. Now, here's the difficult question. It's not really difficult for this situation. If I've made 70 tires, again, I know I'm reiterating this, how many bottles of shampoo did I make? 0, which means what is my opportunity cost in shampoo bottles on Wednesdays? What have I lost out on Wednesdays? Some of you guys are thinking this is too obvious and you don't want to say it. Remember, it's the next best thing. I could have made shampoo bottles, but I didn't, so I lost out on them. So how many bottles of shampoo did I lose on Wednesdays? 600, right? So this is the weird one, right? Trade-off is simple. Take the dots, I made 0, right? Opportunity cost is what did I lose, right? So let me change the colors and I'll explain what I'm talking about. So if I have 70, I made absolutely 0 bottles of shampoo. Opportunity cost, I lost out on 600 bottles of shampoo. That's my OC. Right, so a couple years back, I mentioned you guys the McRib that they were doing studies on what they were losing by making the McRib. Right? Because I'm putting effort into the McRib, they couldn't make money on other stuff. So they were looking at what they lost out on by using McRibs, or selling them, and they thought, you know what, we're actually losing money. We got to go back to making more traditional burgers, hamburgers, Big Macs, quarter pounders, right? Because we're losing out. Right? So if the opportunity cost is huge, then you have to like reconsider what you're doing. All right, let me take a step back here. Cool, I like this. Now, if I shift over to, let's go, the other side of this, okay? If I make on Thursday 600 bottles of shampoo, how many tires did I make on Thursdays? 0. What's my opportunity cost in tires? I lost out on the 70 tires I could have made. Opportunity cost. Okay, so those are our kind of like extreme points. But I would imagine most of you guys in the real world, you don't just make one thing, you kind of do a whole bunch of little things. Like when you're at Longhorn, it's not just this. You're also running around. If they need help, you'll help do this or you do that. So we're always kind of bumping around trying to figure out what we need to do. So what we do here is we look at different combinations. Let's go to purple. So your line on your graph is the exact same as mine. So follow along. If I decide on Fridays to go let's just go 40. So I'm gonna have you guys work on tires on Fridays, and you guys are gonna work on bottles of shampoo. All right, so let's say that I have you guys and you're able to max out at 40 tires, right? So we're gonna use the line that's there. We literally just come over and come down. What's our trade-off? 500. A different one, okay? Monday, we come back to work, and I'm like, listen, I want to shift gears a little bit. Let's switch it up. Let's go to, you guys are going to do, let's have you guys join you guys, and you're going to do your tires, and you guys are going to make shampoo. All right, so let's switch it. And we get to 300, up to the line and over. 65. All right, so we go 300, 65. So those are just what we're looking at right now. It's just a simple trade-off, up and over. We'll leave it there. Okay, so now this next part, I'm going to show you guys the money part. Now the money part, you do not have to write this down unless you want to see where it's like, this is a practical thing. Matter of fact, anyone who's in chef and restaurant, you guys ever worked in a restaurant and they get rid of a menu item? One of the reasons why they get rid of menu items is because of this. Because they're like, why am I wasting my money on this item when no one's buying it? All right, so we're going to go back to our prices here. So just kind of follow along. And let's go with. It's kind of fun having all the colors. All right, so if I'm making just tires, right? I'm looking at 70 tires per day times $125. That's $8,750 per day. If I'm able to sell every single one of them, 8,750 per day, right there. If I'm doing shampoo bottles, let's see, $600. I'm sorry, 600 shampoo bottles times $6. This one pulls in $3,600 per day. Okay. So now the question becomes: is there a better combination where I'm going to make more money? So our money maker, it looks like, is the tires. So I'm going to lean more towards making tires because that's where the money is. So let's look at that first, the 65 up here. So if I go 65 tires at $125 per tire, that puts me at 8,125 per day. And then keep in mind, I still made some shampoo bottles, 300 of them, times $6, puts me at $1,800. Add those together. Combining the two, I've just now pulled in $9,925. So do I get rid of the shampoo or do I just make less shampoo and focus on my tires? Right. This is where, again, if I'm selling an item on a menu and still making money off of it, well, you keep it on. But there was one a couple years back. Who here's been to Panini's in Brunswick? If you've ever been, it's actually decent.
It is good.
They had they used to have a eggplant parmesan wrap. It was my favorite. I would go in. I felt healthy even though it was deep fried. It was eggplant, so I was like, it's vegetables and it's good for me, right? And I would go in all the time and get it, but I had to have been the only person getting it because I ordered it actually on the phone. I called, I was like, I want to get this, whatever it was called at the time, Primavera. And they were like, okay, sounds good. And I showed up and they gave me like a shrimp scampi pasta dish. I'm like, what happened? They're like, oh, we took it off the menu. They weren't making money of it. But if they were making money, we'd have to potentially figure out the combination. So this is where companies like Skittles, you ever think about Skittles? Who here's a Skittles fan? Right? The regular traditional Skittles, who here is okay with those? Who likes the wild berry? Who likes there's tropical flavors? But they throw those out randomly. Right? Same thing with Reese's Cups. They have your traditional good old faithful Reese's Cups. But then they start to add on as the seasons go by different variations because they know they can pull people in to get those different shapes, right? The Easter one's coming up. All right, so what I'm going to do with you guys now is walk you through this portion. Okay, so you guys have something below. I'm actually going to pull out the sheet so I can look at you guys over here. So the first one, and wink, wink, nudge, nudge, you may see something similar to this on the quiz. So keep your eyes open for that. So the first one you guys have on here is simple trade-offs. You actually see at the top of the page, it says production possibilities curve for trade-offs only, okay? So for this one, if we are looking at, so there's my bags, there's bags of Skittles there, made in an hour, and then we have bottles of pop made in an hour. So the first question is here, if the company only makes bottles of pop, that's all they make, how many can they make in 1 hour? What will be our answer? We're in the graph. Yes?
90 bottles.
So you got 90. Good. If the company only makes bags of Skittles, how many can it make in an hour? According to the graph. Yeah. You got it. 450. These are our extremes. Okay, now, these are just literally connecting the dots. So don't take it to the next step. So if we're looking at the next question, what is the trade-off if the company produces 40 bottles of pop? So let's find 40 bottles of pop. Boom. Okay, we just go over to the line and come down. What do we have? 400. That's it. Simple trade-off. To the line, down, that's our trade-off. You see it? You see it? Okay. Because you were like, all right, now we switch over to the other side. What is a trade-off if the company produces 10? Wait, is that the one? Did I skip one? Yeah, I did. What is the trade-off if the company produces 450 bags of Skittles? Zero. Because I didn't make anything on the other. Okay, if you guys see where I'm going with this, go ahead and jump ahead of me. Number 5, what's the trade-off if the company produces 10 bottles of pop? This is going to be a tight one over here because it's kind of small. Goes over the line, comes down. I would say 445 because we're pretty close to the end over there. I think you see where I got that. What's that sign? All right, number 6, Company produces 125 bags of Skittles. We're right about here. Go up. Probably around 85. On the quiz tomorrow, it'll be a lot more specific. Like it'll go and connect directly. Or Friday, sorry, not tomorrow. What is the trade-off if the company produces 85 bottles of pop? We just did the opposite of that. It would be 85 bottles of pop. Come back down. Trade-off is 125. How about 250 bags of Skittles? We find 250 and we go up to the line. And over. Looking at 75. We got 55 bottles of pop. Right here. There, down. 350. And then 325 bags of Skittles. Right about there. Up to the line. Over, so let's say 62-ish. Sorry, I got squished on the bottom there. So again, trade-off is simple. It's just connect the dots, whatever the number you see there is the trade-off. Okay, so on your notes, you should have 90, 450, 400, 0, 445, 85, 125, 75, 350, and 62. Okay. Exciting, right? You guys riveted? I know, it's not horribly exciting. The money part before, when I was talking about the finances, that's like, oh, that's very cool. This one, All right, now this one is, what are we losing out on? So this is where it gets a little bit tricky because there's a two-step process for this one. I believe we're using the same numbers. I just want to check here to make sure. Yep. Okay. The only thing now is I'm asking a different question. Okay. So I'm actually going to do something here. 0. Can you guys read me on the list again that you guys have on the page before?
90, 450, 400, 0, 445, 85, 125, 75, 350, and 62.
Okay, that'll help us for this next part. Okay, so the opportunity cost is, what did I lose? What could I have made but I didn't? Okay, so the first two questions are the exact same as the other side. What does the company only makes bottles of pop? How many can it make in an hour? Let's just change the colors here. Still be 90 and 450. Those don't change. Okay. Second question, or 13. What is the opportunity cost in Skittles if the company produces 40 bottles of pop? So I'm going to do this one at a time. So I'm going to erase as I go so it's clearer to see it. So if I do that 40 bottles of pop, we know that 400 was my trade-off, right? But what did I lose out on in bags of Skittles? I could have made 450, but I only made 400. So what's my loss? 50 bags of Skittles. Because again, I'm looking at what I could have made. So if I was looking at this from the Skittles perspective, I was the owner of Skittles, I'd be like, all right, how much money did I lose by not selling those 50 bags of Skittles? What was my financial loss? And if it's not that bad, then you're like, okay, that's fine. It's almost like if you guys have ever been at work and your boss is kind of like a stickler. And well, here's one that's kind of a silly one. I used to work at Fast Eddie's Creekside, now in Brecksville, when I was your age, younger. And I ate a piece of bacon one day. I was like walking past like where they're doing the prepping, and I grabbed a piece of bacon and I started to eat it. Right before I got in my mouth, the owner, Eddie Serino, grabbed my wrist and he like, he actually took it out of my hand. And he stopped the whole kitchen staff and he was like, everyone stop and look over here for a second. This piece of bacon is 5 cents for every slice of bacon. Do not eat the bacon. You are taking money directly out of my pocket. And he kind of went through this little rant. And I'm like, I thought, and then what I didn't say was, but 10 other people prior to me just ate bacon. You just caught me. But then in his brain, what he was doing was, if I'm losing 25 cents of bacon every single hour, that means over the course of a whole day, I'm losing how much money in bacon. But again, that's kind of where we're going with the opportunity cost. All right, let me erase this, and we'll go to the next one. Let's go with red for this one. Let's go blue. Let's go blue. All right, next one, 14. What is the opportunity cost in Skittles? If this company, oh wait, I'm 14, sorry. What is the opportunity cost of pop if the company produces 450 bags of Skittles? So 450 bags, I made how many bottles of pop? 0. But I lost out on how many that I could have made. I lost out on all 90 on that. This is a big transaction. Right, and again, as a company, if every single bottle of pop is $1.75, take that $1.75 times the 90 bottles I didn't make. That's how much money you just lost by not making any pop. Good? All right. It's not the same. All right, next one. Again, if you guys see where I'm going with this, feel free to jump ahead of me. All right, what is the opportunity cost of Skittles if the company makes 10 bottles of pop? So we had decided that 10 bottles of pop puts us at about $4.45, right? I could have made 450, so it's a -5 opportunity cost. I lost out on 5 bags of Skittles. So that really wasn't that bad of a day for me. In regards to Skittles. All right, the next one. Do you guys want me to keep on doing the graphs, or do you want me to do the math with you guys? Okay. So let me try a couple with the math, just so you guys see it. So if I'm looking at this one, we know that we made 85. So it was 125. We made 85 bottles of pop, but I could have made 90. So what did I lose out on? Between the 85 and the 90, I lost out on 5. It really is sensitive. That was my paper. Okay. For this one, we are at 125. Right. So we had gone 85 over. So 125. So this is our connection. But I could have made 450. So what is my opportunity cost? Anybody do the math already? 325. Yep. 325.
Hey, Mr. Hall.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is the opportunity cost in total? The company makes 125.
Yep. So I made 125.
So that's 325.
Yep.
I was confused because like you put 2.5, you put 4.5 and 5, and then it was. I'm so confused.
Right. So if I'm doing, I'll change color so I can show it to you.
I'm like confused because like the on the paper it's not making sense.
Yep. That's all right. This is the one that people typically get lost on. The trade-offs people are pretty okay at. Let's go with purple. Have some fun here. So if we're doing that 125 one, right? It's the one you got stuck on.
Yeah, the
So-
one with the says that this company is 125 dollars.
So if we go 15, what is the opportunity cost in Skittles? Is that what you're looking for?
I'm looking at 16.
You're looking at 16. Okay. So 16, what's the opportunity cost in pop? If the company makes 125 bags of Skittles. Right, so if I take 125 bags of Skittles and I come up and over, I made 85. So remember, the question is, what did I lose out in pop? Could have made 90 and only made 85. So I lost out on 5. Okay.
Yeah. So just tripping for a second.
Okay. 17, what's the opportunity cost in Skittles if the company produces 85 bottles of pop? That was the one that we just did, right? 85 over. I'm down 125. I lost out on 325. Last 3. What's the opportunity cost in pop if the company produces 250 bags of Skittles? 250 up to my line, over, gives me that 75. But I could have made 90. So I lost out on 15. Last 2. 55 bottles of pop. Down. 350, but I could have made 450. So what did I lose out on? Anyone? What's that? I thought I heard somebody say 350 to 450. What did I lose? 100? 350 to 450? 100. Okay. Last one. And then you guys can rest easy that we're done doing that, at least till Friday. Opportunity cost in pop. The company produces 325 bags of Skittles. So 325. Up and over. What was it? 62, I said? You could have made 90, so what did I lose out on? 28. Got it. The quiz on Friday, it'll be a lot more like in your face numbers. It won't be as skewed or like off numbers. It'll be like on the line. Okay. And with that, so you will see a couple questions. Just be ready for that regarding this one. If you get stuck, I can't technically give. Let me rephrase. I won't technically give you the answer, but I can point you in the right direction if the question is kind of confusing on Friday. All right, let's move to this one. Okay, so we already know about the curve. We know that this is 100% perfect. This is perfection right there. That letter A, the orange one. Right. Utmost efficiency. Everything is working very, very well. Yeah. Sometimes the economy works inefficiently, though. And you guys have all experienced this one, especially if you have to work harder for someone else who's not there. They don't show up, and now all of a sudden you are dealing with what they were supposed to be doing. That is called underutilization. That point right there. The machine breaks down. Someone doesn't show up for work. The delivery isn't made. You're not feeling horrible, but you're just not feeling good. And you're just trying to make it through the day. Just slow. Everyone's had those days. So you just push through. That would be underutilization. The purple one, the letter C out there, that's what we call a future production possibilities frontier. And you guys may know, well, you guys have lived in under one, but who in here has ever eaten Romeo's Pizza? All right, Romeo's Pizza is a perfect example of that purple line right there. Does anybody know the original location of Romeo's? Ooh. Okay, who in here has ever seen who in here knows where Rise Fitness is? Over on Fenn? Okay, so there's also a buffet right there, and there's Antonio's Pizzas right there. The Antonio's Pizza right there on the corner of Fenn and Pearl, right by that Circle K, right across from the dealership. That is the original Romeo's Pizza. Right? So if I look back at this graph, and of course this is different, this would have been your original Romeo's Pizza. Right? With the building that we have and the people that we have working for us, this is as far as we can go. I can't go any further. I am working at everything I possibly can. However, now, how many locations do we have? Anybody know? I want to guesstimate 15, maybe 20 locations across Northeast Ohio. That's what you call a future production possibilities group. I've hired more people. I've gotten new buildings. I've gotten more machines. Matter of fact, in Brunswick, they just moved to a new
Yeah,
location.
they moved it right across from like Wildfeet.
Yeah. The only problem with that place, have you
I've been
pulled in?
up there, yeah. Why?
is getting out.
Yes,
Yeah. So if
exactly.
you go into the new
parking lot's
location-
So small. Like,
Yeah.
they made it so small.
Well, the other part is getting into it's okay because you could always park at different locations.
Yeah.
But getting out, you have to turn right if you want to make it easier on yourself. There's no way to turn left, and they can't get you to the intersection either way. So it's just a little weird one. Same thing. Who here remembers when they had the Sonic in Brunswick?
Yes.
Right? That used to be a whole bunch of other restaurants, and none of them succeeded because it was like you had to go in one way and you had to come back. It was just so hard and difficult to get in there. And Sonic finally got the city to allow them to add that little driveway that brought you out by Burger King,
Oh,
the light.
Oh yeah.
It's a little simple little thing, but all of a sudden people were like, "Oh, I can go in and out because I can get it out easier." But again, all that leads to the future production possibilities frontier. Has anybody been to On Tap?
Yes.
On Tap. Again, that was also, if you go over, the old one is over by the dealership. The new one is in that new plaza, newer
Yeah.
plaza, and they got bigger. They had more tables, better kitchen. So again, there is a future production possibilities.
Mr. Hummel, I have
Yeah.
a fact for you.
Yeah.
So you know like the back drive, like by Taco Bell and Burger King?
Uh-huh.
The back drive. Guess what owns that?
The Clear Book or the Fuel?
No, actually Taco Bell actually.
Let's talk about owning that.
Taco Bell owns all that land, I guess.
Genius.
I know, like the back alleyway that's like by like Speedway and all
Yeah,
that, like
yeah.
Taco Bell owns it.
Huh.
My dad told me that the other day. And I was like, wow, how did they own all that land?
That was actually, has anybody here seen the movie, The Founder, about McDonald's? Michael Keaton is the one that plays the guy that actually buys McDonald's and kind of creates what it is today. But in McDonald's, what he ended up doing was he actually turned McDonald's from a franchise, which he was still part of, into a real estate. So what he was doing was he would buy the land, and then he would let the people put their franchise on his land and pay him for his land. So he became a real estate owner, which is how he made his millions upon millions of dollars. So, all right, guys, I'm going to stop there. We'll finish this up tomorrow for sure. But that math and the graphing was a lot, so let's take a little breather, and we will pick it up from there tomorrow.